So in the previous class, we saw right how we can handle a file, like how we can read the file, how we can write the file, or how we can append the data to the existing data. So all those things we saw, right?
Yeah.
1 second. So normally we can do like here we did with pi open, right? So the same thing we can do with okay, with keyword we can try. So whenever we try with keyword, the advantage is if you handle a file with the open function, you should manually close it. But when it's come to with, you no need to close the function manually. So by itself, it's going to close the file. Okay, the difference between open and with is whenever you handle a file with open function, you should close the function manually. And when it's come to with, so for whenever you use a with, you no need to close the function manually. Automatically, it will close the function itself. Okay, that is the difference between open and with. Clear?
Yes.
The operations will be same. We need to use a file name and we need to use like mode. Everything is same. The thing that we are gonna change is the syntax. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Let me show you how we can do that. With open the file name same. I will take the existing file and or else I can take the new file. If I take the new file, it's going to create that file if doesn't exist. In write mode only it will create, okay. Or in append mode it will create. But if you open with read mode, the file should be exist. Okay.
Okay.
So let me read first, okay. I will take the existing file and I will read. So here you should use the keyword called as. With, whenever you use with, and instead of here we did with like this, right? F is equals to open, but here we are going to do in this way with open this file as F. So this is the F is the file object. Okay, this is how, this is the syntax how to do. Now you can do the same thing for I in F. Right, just save it and oh sorry, yeah, there was a mistake. Oh, what's wrong here? Okay.
The enclosed one.
I didn't close them properly. Sorry, Deepa. I did lots of mistakes, it seems. Spell mistakes. So see, like whenever you use some built-in functions and the spelling is mistake, you are going to get name error and it will tell you name println is not defined. Did you mean print? So did you mean print? So this is the actual spelling and this is the wrong spelling that given by you. Such errors also will help you to identify what is whatever issue you did. So we should first like try to understand the errors, okay?
Yeah.
Here it's telling, see, unterminated triple quoted string literal. Or if you didn't close the bracket properly, it's going to tell like unterminated bracket. Like such errors, it's going to tell you clearly whatever the mistake you did. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. I can read the file, but whenever it's come to open, I should close it manually. But now it closed itself manually. I no need to close it manually. Okay.
Understood.
Yeah. And for now, we saw like R mode, W mode, A mode, right? Let me show you the R plus mode, W plus mode, and A plus mode, okay? So whenever you open the file in R mode, you can just read it. Whenever you open your file in W mode, you can just write it. You can't read it. And whenever you open open a file in A mode, you can write the data, but you can't read it. Okay. But with this mode, R plus mode, you can read the data, you can write the data. Okay.
Yes.
How we can do. So I printed the data and let me write some data to that. F dot write. Let me take a new file. Okay, it will create new file if that is not there. New one dot txt I will take. And first I need to, because that is empty file, right? So let me write some content to it. So already, if you give /n, it will go to next line, new line it will go. Okay, that's that right. Okay, now just try, save it, and if you run it, okay, it should be exist in R plus mode. It should be exist in maybe in W plus mode. It might give you the data. Okay, let me create the file. Okay, in the directory, let me create. Only in W plus mode we can create a file if that doesn't exist. Okay, W or W plus
Yes.
mode. Yeah.
So can you just repeat once again?
So in W mode or W plus mode, if you open the file which doesn't exist, it will create the file. Append mode also will create, but whenever it's come to R or R plus mode, the file should be exist.
Okay.
Let me modify it. So if you see this is empty data, you can say 0 KB. In the sense, this is empty data. Now let me run the code. Okay, so it's already right. It already. 1 second. See, so now first time it won't print the data. Why? Because after running this data only, it's going to append the content, right? So post to running only, it's going to append the content. It's going to add the content in the file. That's why first time whenever you run, it didn't give you any output. Even you are trying to read, why it's not giving? Because of it's not yet added the content to the file. Once after this with block n, then only it will save the data to the file. Okay. We should close it, right? Whenever you close, then only it's going to save the data to the file. That's why first time you didn't get any output, and whenever you run second time, it's going to add this data again, and whatever data added first time, that it printed here. First let me open the file, then you can understand. So just keep it in mind. So just this one. This is first time whenever you run the file, it got added. At the time, it didn't print anything, correct? It didn't print anything for you. Why? Because it not yet saved the data. That's why it didn't print you any content. And whenever you run data second time, and whatever steps you have initially, you have these 2 steps initially, and what they need to do, they are going to add the data. Okay, and R plus mode won't override the data. Remember, R plus won't override the existing data. That's why it added these 2 new lines again to the file. That's why the next 2 lines got added. Okay, and what it did, whatever old data is there, that old data it printed for you. Okay.
Whatever whole data.
Old data is there that printed here, and whatever you added the new data that won't print in the same run. If you run next time, it will print for you.
Okay, okay, understood.
Yeah. So in that run itself, the new data it won't print. In next run, it will print you. Okay.
Yes.
And remember, R plus mode never override the data. Okay.
Never.
Now
Okay.
let us try that with W plus mode. This is for read and write. Okay. And let me take new file. It will create. If the file doesn't exist, it will create for you. See, it didn't print anything. I already told you. First run, it won't print because it's going to consider that as empty file only. And whatever data you added, it won't print for you. Okay. Now see,
Yes.
this new2 got created, right? I gave new2 file and this is the content I have. And if you want to read this old data, okay, if you want to read this old data, you can just comment them out. Just save it. See what happened to it. What happened? Okay, it's overriding, Deepa. It's overriding. I hope you understood.
I'm so sorry, I got confused.
One second. I will tell you. So I already told you, whenever you open a file in W or W plus mode, it's going to override the data. Correct?
Yes.
Now
Yes,
I am
yes.
not adding any data, right? I am not doing anything. Just I am trying to read. And whenever it's come to W plus mode, it's overriding the existing data and it's making it null. Means it's removing the existing content because of you opened that in W plus mode. See, it's telling you 0 KB. There is no data because of you open the file in W plus mode.
Okay.
Clear?
If we take it for the next time, will it be adding on?
In the sense?
Likewise in R plus. So it will not override the data, but it will not take the old data and it will be like new data. If you run the next time, you'll have the new one, right? So in
Not
this, the
like
same case,
it won't. It will
it
override.
doesn't at all.
It will override. It will override the old data. It will override. Yeah, how many number of times if you run? See, it override.
Okay.
It got override.
Okay.
It got override. It won't print. Okay.
Okay.
And let us do that everyone and save it. See, it's overriding the existing files. Whatever file you are giving with the W plus mode, if there is no content and if you are not doing anything, it will make that file null. It will make that file empty. Okay.
Understood.
And what you can do in that case, you can open now. Have some content. Okay. See, it will override it. Okay. It will override. Previously in new one, we got this tab twice because we run that file in R plus mode twice. So at that time, we totally had four lines. But because we run that file in W plus mode, it will override the existing data and it gave you the new data. Now, if you open the file in A plus mode, that is append plus A plus mode, save it, run it. It should, why it's not reading the data? I'm not getting. It's appending, so it's not deleting the existing data. Okay, it's appending the data, but it should read. But I'm not sure why it's not reading the data. See, it's appended. I run the 2 times, right? This is your file, this is your data, this is your file, this is your data. So that appended here. The old data is there. Along with that, you can see the new data as well. Because this is, we open the file in A+ mode. Okay.
Yeah.
And why it's not reading, I will check Deepa, and I will check and I will update that. Okay.
Okay.
But this is how we can do. Okay. A+ mode, W+ mode, R+ mode, or R mode, W mode, A mode. So let me just give some overview. So Python, in Python or in any language, files are the permanent storage in computer memory. So to handle with files, so it can be any file, it can be audio file, it can be video file, it can be image, it can be text, it can be CSV, it can be Excel, any kind of file, any kind of file. If we want to handle, we can go with file handling. If you want to read the data first, if you want to perform any kind of operation, first you should open the file. So to open a file, we can use open method, or we can work with as well. So what is the difference between open and with is, if you open a file using the open method alone, you should close it manually. But when it's come to with keyword, we no need to close the file manually. It will take care of the closing the file. Okay. And we have different kind of modes. One is R mode, it is used for reading the file. And then W mode, it is used to write the data to the file. And if the file already exists, and if any data is there inside the file, it will override it. And if the file doesn't exist, it will create the file. And when it's come to append mode also similar to write mode. It's if the file doesn't exist, it will create the file. And if the file already exists, it won't overwrite the existing data. So along with the existing data, it will add the new data. R+ mode, it is for read and write. W+ mode, it is read and write. But R+ mode won't overwrite the data, but W+ mode will overwrite the data. A+, this is for read and write, but it won't overwrite the data. It will add data to the existing file. Okay.
Yeah.
To read the data, we can use this for loop. And when it's come to write the data, we are going to use write method. Clear?
Yes.
Any doubts?
No.